Emotional independence from your parents or from other people. This is one of the bigger topics that I want to talk about because a lot of times being emotionally independent from someone else is to be able to not have the other person change their behaviors to make us feel better. For example, on Reddit or in real life, sometimes I would come across posts or situations such as this. My mom is always forcing me to do this, and if I don't do it, then she would guilt trip me. Or maybe, that person really is disrespectful, they don't appreciate what I do. Why can't that person just thank me or appreciate what I do? Or someone would say, why are they always yelling at me? If they can just stop yelling at me or hitting me, then that would be so much better. I'm not saying that the other person is not doing something wrong. And at the same time, we cannot change the other person's behavior. And if we keep hoping and demanding the other person to change, and if they don't change, we will be miserable or be angry about it, then we're at a disadvantage. So this video about emotional independence is so important because we have to be the one to acknowledge our feelings so that we can get onto the other side, to not let these people control us. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people do, it's what we do in response to them. Here are 3 questions that I usually ask people to process the emotion, to become more emotional independent, especially with pain, especially with guilt, especially with fear. So the first question I would ask is, if that person is doing something like that, would you make it mean about you? So for example, recently there is this person who posted saying that she wanted to go to Disney and her mom doesn't want her to go by herself, and she is forcing her to bring the mom with her, and she wanted to say no to the mom. So my first question would be, what are you making it mean about you when the other person do that? So most of the time it means that they're a bad daughter, it means that they're a horrible person, it means that they're disempowered. And then so when they are a bad daughter, if they feel so powerless, how does that make them feel? So that would be the second question. It makes them feel very guilty, it makes them feel very trapped and without power. So then when you feel without power or when you're feeling guilty, how does it show up in the body? And this is the most important part. How does it show up in the body? For me, when I feel guilty, it feels like there is a big anchor that drops from my heart to my stomach. So if I'm to think, okay, I'm such a bad daughter, I cannot do what my mom asked me to do, then when I feel guilty, it feels like a big anchor that drops into my stomach. Or when I feel powerless, or when I feel like other people have control over me, then I feel like it's like this little trap. It's like a cage that keeps coming closer and closer and smaller, and I want to fight, but I can't. So when you can identify this, then you just let yourself sit in this feeling for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just set a timer. Nothing has gone wrong. We're not trying to break out of it. Or if it's pain, so when someone has hurt you, how does that feel like for you? It may feel like someone has used a knife and stabbed you in the heart, and just feel that feeling. It's not a pleasant feeling, and yet it is when we allow ourselves to feel it, be able to sit in it, and then we can do something about it. Because the first thing is we want the other person to change, to acknowledge how we're feeling. But at the end of the day, the most important part is for us to acknowledge that yes, we get hurt, yes, we feel guilty, yes, we feel trapped. And so it is through that then we can acknowledge it for ourselves. And now the third question would be, okay, so now that you know what that means for you, you know how it makes you feel, so what do you want to do about it? So then you can ask, so these are the three questions. What does it mean about you? How does that feel like in the body? And so you can sit in it. And then the third is what do you want to do about it? And then in that way, we don't necessarily need the other person to change, and we can go on to decide what is best for us. So this is how we gain emotional independence. I know that sometimes sitting with the emotion feels really difficult because it is a very uncomfortable feeling that we're sitting in. And at the same time, it is this feeling that we want to push away, to avoid, to make it wrong, then that stops us from going on to the other side. I hope that it helps. If you have any more questions that you want to ask so that I can help you, send me a message. Or if you would like someone to actually help you sit through these feelings so that you can process them, so that you can break yourself free away from other person's control over you, book a time with me so we can do a consultation, and we can do it together. So that's it for today. In the next video, I'm going to talk about psychological independence, and we're talking more about discovering patterns and what we can do about those things. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Until next time.